You have to have an idea. Take that idea, draw it out, pass it to a product development team. Day starts around 8:15, 8:30. I like to get into the office before the rest of my team. Always loving accessories and clothing and just retail in general. Always been a creative person. I love to craft and sew. And so moving into this retail space as a career is really just like a dream job to me. Being surrounded by the energy and how much excitement was happening in this building, I knew merchandising was it. I was sold. Hi, my name is Jackie Hudson, and I am currently the Vice President of Merchandising, Product Development, and Design at Atrium Apparel Corporation. I've been in corporate retail for almost 14 years now. It really starts with a concept. You have to have an idea. Take that idea, draw it out. Draw it out, pass it to a product development team. Find a factory that can source it. You start working with a factory to get the materials, the size, the quality, where it's coming from, how long it takes, what it's going to cost you. Once you get that done, you'll get a sample in your hands. You take a look at a sample, you approve it, sounds good, roll into production. Then they're going to secure the materials, they're going to produce the goods, they're going to put it on a boat or on a plane and get it back to your hands. Then from there, how are you going to sell it? You're going to put it in a store, you're going to throw it online, you're going to give it away. That's really the product life cycle. And then once it's out on the floor and selling, you decide, do you want to reorder it? If so, start it all back over again. As of today, I have a team of 11, 4 merchants, 3 product developers, and 3 graphic designers. I really have to oversee all 3 functions of the team and the collaboration of those teams, how they work together. So on a daily basis, I'm meeting with clients to understand what the scope of the projects are. I'm meeting with my merchant and product development team to make sure that the projects are being executed correctly. And then I'm also meeting with my graphic designers to make sure that the concepts are being translated from the clients to actual paper and then to the finished products. My typical day starts around 8:15, 8:30. I like to get into the office before the rest of my team, catching up on my emails, trying to get a couple things done before, again, everyone starts kind of rolling into the office. The team is in the office, we'll have a touch base together, kind of huddle up and say what's on the docket for today, what do we have to get done. We'll talk about client meetings that are coming up, again, deliverables and deadlines that we have. Yesterday, I actually spent then the later part of my morning visiting a client. We're talking about developing some new accessories for them. So sat down with their head of sourcing and their head merchant to understand what products they're looking for, what are their pain points, and how myself now actually on the vendor side of the business, how I can help them. And went to one more meeting at Express because we're doing mannequin shoes for them, and so we had new samples to drop off, so we dropped off the samples. They loved the quality, we went over the costing, told us a purchase order is going to be coming our way here shortly, which is our green light to say we can go ahead and buy the items. And then I came back to the office after lunch to meet with the team and have a concept meeting. We're designing into holiday right now for some of our clients. So we were reviewing what's hot in the market, what are the new ideas that they're coming up with, and then from that meeting, then my graphic designers will then take the products and actually start designing. Then by the end of the day, I'm kind of wrapping back up at my desk, checking my emails, again, seeing what new deliverables clients have for us or reaching back out to those clients and following up on any outstanding needs that they had. I love product. Always loving accessories and clothing and just retail in general. Always been a creative person. I love to craft and sew. And so moving into this retail space as a career is really just like a dream job to me. So I think for me, a lot of it goes back to the fact that I just love product. I do different things every day. You got to catch up where you get left behind, and I love that. I'm someone that likes to move fast. I like to have a lot of balls juggling in the air at one time, and I'm also a people person. I love the fact that I get to work with so many different teams, and the fact that as a merchant, you get to kind of be the conductor and orchestrate all of it together is another thing that I really love about my work. It is a demanding job. It can be challenging to work a little bit longer hours, to have some of that pressure and have those deliverables that every day you're having to hit these milestones to make sure the product is still moving forward at the pace that it needs to move forward to. You have to be willing to be in front of people. It's not a desk job. A little secret that you might not know about retail is that it takes about 9 months from start to finish to get product in a store. We have to come up with the designs, we have to start sourcing the product, get samples in, make revisions, then place an order. Once you place the order, then it takes about 30 to 45 days to secure the yarns, for example, that would go in this sweater. Then it takes another 30 to 45 days to actually knit the sweater. Then it takes another 30 to 45 days on a boat to sail from China to the US to the distribution center. Then it takes about another 10 days to get it from the distribution center in the United States to the retail locations. So the process of, again, what you might be wearing, knowing that it has been months and months and months of planning before it ever got to that store. I'll never forget how proud I felt the first time I saw someone wearing something that I had a hand in making. We were working on glitter mousse t-shirts, and I remember going to the mall a week after it had gotten into the store and seeing a girl walking down, the aisle wearing this shirt, and I just remember thinking, who's around me? Who can I made that shirt. I helped make that shirt. So, and that feeling doesn't go away. I mean, I still get so excited when I see people wearing things that I had a hand in, or again, just product getting delivered and getting to see it and touch it and feel it and know all the hours and days and months of work that went into getting that product here. I remember one time with my mom, again, at the mall, that I elbowed her and she said, "What's going on?" I said, "I made that." So a standard path to being a merchandiser would be a fashion merchandising major of some sort in college. I, however, had an interesting journey to merchandising. I myself was not very sure what I wanted to do coming out of high school, so I chose to go to a liberal arts school. At the end of the day, if you can think creatively, smart, if you can move fast, and you have a good attitude, you can make it in retail. I think it's very important that you surround yourself in some really strong business classes. So fashion merchandising might teach you how to create an assortment and how to produce and source items. At the end of the day, as a merchant, you're also responsible for the numbers side of the business. So really understanding how profit and loss and margins, so whether that's a little bit of economics or some type of business class that's really helping you get to the foundation, the numbers behind what you're making, is really going to make you excel in your career in merchandising. So when I'm interviewing candidates, I really like to understand true examples of things in real life. So I can ask them, what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses? That's all fine and dandy, but I would love an explanation of at what time in your career have you used those strengths to overcome an obstacle, or what time in your career have some of those weaknesses really hurt you in progressing within your career. I actually really like to ask the interviewee what their questions are. I learn a lot from someone by what questions they're asking me. Are they connecting those dots? Are they really digging to understand more about the company, the culture, the job itself? So for me, really having the candidate come with a list of questions and being really curious about the role is something that I really look for. They're coming out of college. What activities did they do while on campus? What internships did they do throughout their years? In my mind, internships is the number one most important thing that you can do in your college career. So starting off in your career, you'd most likely come in as an assistant merchant. From there, if you're in the corporate side of it, it's a pretty vertical ladder when it comes to progression. So you go from an assistant merchant to an associate, to a merchant, to a senior merchant. At senior merchant level, you're most likely managing merchants below you and multiple categories of business. After you're a senior merchant, you become a merchandise manager, where you think about multiple seniors under you that have multiple product categories. So now all of a sudden your breadth of what you're touching is becoming much larger. After you're a merchandise manager, you become a vice president, and then the ultimate mecca in the corporate world would be becoming a GMM, or a general merchandise manager. So as technology and experiences and food become a bigger draw in our society, it's definitely having some effects on the apparel and accessory business that I've grown up in. So we're having to really understand from a consumer standpoint that shift, plan it appropriately, and also get ourselves into those new markets. So some of my current clients, where we had mostly focused on apparel, we're now actually getting into the tech space. We're offering Bluetooth speakers, and we're doing some more things that are, again, happening and moving at a pretty fast pace that clients want. It's not just about a t-shirt anymore. It's about a t-shirt and an iPhone case. On top of that, over the past 2 years alone in my business, we now actually have a web building service. We never used to build websites, but every client that we've had come up to us recently in the past is asking for that help. So now we're not only designing product and sourcing it and importing it, we're actually building their website to then sell the product on. So again, as that whole technology moving to e-commerce and online selling, we're now, as our company, trying to get our foot in the door with it as well and saying, hey, don't go to another marketing agency to get your website built. We can do that for you as well and really make it a full service experience with us. I'm definitely very grateful to my friend Abby Bernard. She really was the one that got me to even understand that merchandising existed in this world, and since my first day interning there, I knew I was sold. This is what I was meant to do with my career. Always just loved making things and selling things. It's just been in my nature since I've been growing up. And I've always been a big crafter. I had an idea, it just came to me, and I drew it out on a piece of paper, and right below my apartment where I was staying was a cobbler. I showed him a design I had for a belt, and I asked if he could make it, and he nodded his head. So he made me a sample, and I found a ribbon shop down the street, and I bought ribbon, and I put together this belt, and I started wearing it around campus. American students were saying, where'd you get that? I said, well, actually, I made it. I made it right here in Florence, and next thing you know, I'm selling belts all over Florence, and then I bring it back to Chicago and home for the summer, and I go into some boutiques, and they loved it and started buying it for me. A friend had mentioned to me in my junior year of college, hey, there's this job, it's called merchandising. It's kind of like what you're doing for your own business. You should try to get an internship. And I said, well, that's great, but where do I go? Try out Abercrombie & Fitch, they're right down the street. So luckily enough, I was able to get my foot in the door, knocked loud enough, got an interview, and actually got that internship. So I'll never forget my first day walking through those big doors, seeing that svelte front door desk boy greeting me with his heavily cologned Abercrombie scent, the music blasting, and I just knew this is where I needed to be. Being surrounded by the energy and how much excitement was happening in this building, I knew merchandising was it. I was sold. No one in my family had ever heard of merchandising, so this world has been something very new for all of my family. But they see how passionate I am about it, and they know me and that entrepreneur in me and the product lover and the accessory lover. My mom always called me a handbag lady. She said from the time I could walk, I had a purse on my shoulder. So I don't think it's surprising for them. I think they're very happy that I found my passion, and they're learning a lot about the industry, as we go along here. 2.5 years ago, I was working for the Limited, and the doors closed on us. They went bankrupt. It was a very, very tough time in my career. We had just gone out and hired 3 months prior a whole new design team, a whole new general merchandise manager. We were putting in hours and time and so much passion to reinventing this brand, to then 3 months later, literally being told, we're sorry, doors are shutting, we did not find a buyer. Having that hit you when you know how much work and effort you've put into something was the hardest and lowest part of my career. But I knew there was a reason behind it, and so I trusted in that, and it's brought me where I'm at today. The best advice I ever received was from a former boss who told me, no one will manage your career except for you. Really what she means is you need to be the owner of your own destiny. You need to manage what you want to do. Don't wait for someone to come and tell you, oh, I think you should be doing this, or I think you should go here. You have to go out and get it yourself. One world problem that continues to kind of haunt me as not only a nation, but as a world, is this idea of still having these exclusivities with people and different ways of doing things. I just don't understand at this point in our evolution that we can't just all be inclusive and love one another for who they are, no matter what sexual orientation, gender, non-gender. We're all humans. We all have love. We all have feelings. And so I think for me, just really my hope is that idea of inclusivity will continue to grow as my children grow up, and that some of the things that I still encounter on a daily basis, whether again it's sexism, whatever that is, will be such a smaller memory of the past and not, the future that these generations have to be focused on.
What's your favorite food?
Pizza.
What do you do in your free time?
Spend time with my family and my kids.
What's your most favorite country to visit?
I really do love Italy.
One thing that you cannot live without?
My phone.
What's your favorite book?
I really loved Black Stallion.
What's your favorite show or movie?
I love This Is Us.
What makes you sad?
Pain or seeing people in pain.
What makes you happy?
Other people being happy.
You should get into my profession if you are
passionate and love product.
You should not get into my profession if you are
quiet and like routine. So if you've been watching this and I've captured your attention, go for it. If you are passionate, if you love product, if you're a great multitasker, you can be a merchant. It's going to be an evolution. It's going to be hard. There's going to be tough days. There's going to be long days. There's going to be stress. But at the end of the day, you're going to be developing some really great things, working with some amazingly smart and passionate people, and you're going to grow so much in your career. There are so many ways you can go after being a merchant as well, from starting your own business to finding those niche jobs within merchandising. So really, again, if you're passionate, if what I've said has tugged at your heart and said, wow, I think I could do that too, just do it. I believe in you.